All right, John McClain, Hall of Fame writer. We'll get to quite a bit with the NFL. But, John, we had a caller. I don't know if it was Friday or Monday, and I wish I would remember, but he had said something, and I didn't believe it, but is it, I know speculation, but you and all of it, did Jay Glazer once report that Miami had offered 3 first-round picks and 3 third-round picks for Deshaun Watson? Did that ever really happen?
No, it didn't happen, and I don't know that it was Jay Glazer. I've seen national media say they turned down 3 1s and 3 2s, not true. 3 1s and 3 3s, not true. They would take those trades in a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. Why would they turn down 3 1s and 3 2s if all they're asking is 3 1s and 2 2s spread over 2 years? So every week the national media tries to come out with something and make a big splash, and we don't even react to it here because nobody's going to make a trade for Watson when he's still got all these legal issues unresolved, and in all likelihood is not going to play this season. And I don't know if he's going to play next season.
Yeah, John, if somebody called me up the day before I found out about Tony Busby's lawsuits and said 3 1s and 3 2s, if I'm Nick Caserio, before you can hang up the phone, I'm already emailing you the agreement.
3 1s, yes, and I would lose the 3 2s or 3s. Exactly.
Yeah, in March, before the totality of the legal situation played out, and we saw that there were 22 civil suits, 10 of those filing criminal complaints. They thought they could get 3 1s, 2 2s, and a starting defensive player. And then, of course, it all fell apart. They've had some teams call them, say, hey, we'll give you a 3 that'll be a 2 if he meets certain conditions, or a 2 that'll be a 1 if he meets certain conditions. And they're like, thanks, but no thanks.
So, John, this past Thursday, the Panthers took care of business against the Texans 24-9. Texans now turn their sights towards a road trip against a very good Buffalo team coming up on Sunday. Your thoughts on last week, now heading into this week, and the challenge that is the Bills?
Craig, with all due respect, I don't give a rat's you-know-what about that Thursday game.
Okay.
The only game I want to talk about is the Saturday game and those fighting Baylor Bears upsetting Iowa State. And I might talk about the Cowboys blowing out the Eagles last night. But the Texans, they're playing shorthanded. They got a rookie quarterback who shouldn't be playing, but I wrote a column today about he's playing better than all these first-round picks and how basically all the rookie quarterbacks have done terrible. And but, you know, I watched the Baylor game. All my friends were there, and I'm sure you guys, it was so much more fun in person to see them pull it out. And my goodness, if they'd gotten another onside kick, I was going to throw up in my mouth.
Well, they almost did, John. Yeah. That's the greatest kick return ever for Treston Ebner is one that went backwards for a loss of a yard.
They won that game because of special teams and because they couldn't do squat offensively in the second half. But those special teams were pretty unbelievable, and they should be commended for that because too often we overlook that part and we give all the credit of the blame to the offense or defense. But Dave Aranda and his staff have got to be so happy, and I hope the fans there understand what happened, and the next time they play at home, they come out and support them like they did Saturday.
John, you mentioned the Cowboys rolling over the Eagles last night. Do you think that this team has staying power, or will they show themselves eventually to be the Cowboys that we've come to know and love over the last 25 years?
Paul, I picked them to win the division last year. I think if Prescott hadn't been hurt, they would. I picked them to win the division this year. Think how close they are to being 3-0. And the Cowboys right now, you're seeing what happens when you have a legitimate defensive coordinator. Last year, we talked about this. Mike McCarthy made a mistake. Mike Nolan, when he was head coach of the 49ers, gave McCarthy his first offensive coordinator job, which led to him being hired by the Packers. So he reciprocated, and Nolan was not a good coach. So then they hired Dan Quinn, who'd been fired as the Falcons head coach, but it helped Seattle go to Super Bowl. So that was a really good move. And the defense is going to get better the more they adjust to Quinn's system. Now, deep injuries could derail it, just like it can any team on either side of the ball. but they have so much firepower on offense. You know, they can lose Lyle Collins and not skip a beat. And it was good to see Zeke Elliott run like we know he can. And I thought, considering Prescott's ankle surgery, considering how worried they were about his shoulder on Hard Knocks when he got that little injury, I was stunned that he played as well as he did against the Buccaneers. And I thought he played great last night. And I think as long as Dak Prescott's healthy, they're going to run away with that division. Washington's not any good. The Giants are terrible. The Eagles are terrible. The only thing the Cowboys got to worry about is boredom.
John, what do you think Matthew Stafford's living his best life right now?
Craig, it's the first time he's ever played a meaningful game early in the season, and he played great. He's the early favorite to be voted MVP. And I think the Buccaneers and the Rams are destined to play again. It's hard enough to beat Tom Brady once. How hard is it to beat him twice? Now, the Rams are trying to be the second team to win the Super Bowl in their stadium. It had never been done until the Bucs did it last year. And what could hurt the Rams is they don't have a running game. You know, injuries have hurt them in that respect. And I feel with every game being so important when it comes to home field advantage and that first round bye, that you've got to have a running game at some point. You can't rely strictly on the pass. Wouldn't surprise me if by the November 2nd trading deadline, they don't have another back they go after. They've showed they're not afraid to trade picks. I don't think they got a number one. I know they don't have a number one pick, but still, there's a lot of running backs out there. But if they improve their running game just to average about 100 to 110 yards a game, the Rams appear good enough to win it all. But there's a lot of bad teams, but man, oh man, there's a lot of really good teams. And Matthew Stafford, you know, he's living a life. He gets to live in L.A., probably close to the water, playing in the greatest stadium, and with a coach who loves him and wants to throw the ball all the time.
All right, let's get to whatever you wanted to talk about, something that happened Saturday in Waco with your fighting Baylor Bears knocking off 14th ranked Iowa State.
About that a little bit.
I know, and how resilient is the program at Baylor? I asked this to a couple of different guests this week. You think about what they had. They had this great run with Bryles, and then that, of course, was blown up. Then they go to 1-11, and then they get to a Sugar Bowl in 2 years afterwards. 2-7, and now we don't know what they're going to finish. They could lose this weekend in Stillwater. But it's amazing how this program keeps coming back.
Well, first of all, I'm guessing Dave Aranda doesn't want to coach in the NFL, so he's got staying power. And Grimes coming in, working with Gary Bohannon, I thought he'd never be able to throw the ball. Him and I forgot, is it Bell who's coaching quarterback this year? Mm-hmm. They've done a terrific job with Bohannon. It's obvious watching him throw the ball. Now, they didn't do squat in the second half, but they did a great job in the first half. It's amazing how the Big 12 used to throw the ball all over the place. Now it's becoming a running conference, and I think the coaches have done a tremendous job. You know, how often do you take a running back who goes to defense, back to running back, and your leading rusher? And the offensive line is so much better than it was last year. And the defense with 10 starters back. And then when your special teams contribute like that, it's almost a cliche when coaches say we got to be good in all three areas, but that's a fact. And they're going to have to be good in all three areas. They're going to pull off an upset in Stillwater. And I hate Oklahoma State, and I sure hope they do. I'd rather beat Oklahoma State than Oklahoma, and I don't care how good Oklahoma is. And so they showed they got good coaching, and I like it when they get so much praise, not just on their game by the play-by-play person. Or actually, Ryan Lee mentioned Bohannon and Brady in the same sentence at one point. And that's probably the first time in history and ever they'll be mentioned in the same sentence. But it's the improvement of him as a quarterback has been remarkable.
Let me tell you something.
Go ahead. I hate to see Zeno get in the transfer portal. I don't blame him, but if I saw Bohannon playing that way, I think I would too.
We had Ryan Leaf on, and what a story, of course, he is in the first place. And he's becoming a pretty good broadcaster, although, yeah, the comparison to Brady was a little bit overwhelming. But at the same time, what a great story he's been as well.
I love listening to him talk because he's played it. He's been terrible, and he's had some good at times. He's overcome a lot of obstacles off the field, and I think he does a really good job as an analyst. Now, I want to see other analysts. Like I love the analysts of Baylor basketball, but I want to get differing opinions, and I don't even know who's carrying the game Saturday, and I'll be traveling to Buffalo, and I'll have to miss it, but I'll certainly go back and go over every play-by-play. But it's a fun time to be a Baylor fan again, and especially after last season. And one thing to keep in mind, I learned a long time ago when a couple of coaches told me, a new head coach, his worst staff is his first staff because he hires his friends. That guy has been an assistant, and his friends have been an assistant. They make a pact. If I get a head coaching job, I'll hire you. If I get a head coaching job, I'll hire you. And the head coach who figures it out and is able to make changes after the first season is the one who has the best chance for success. And that's what Aranda did. He made some tough moves, and a lot of people probably didn't like it, but it was a smart thing to do, and the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, I think a lot of times when you thought of as a good guy, real low-key personality, he made those decisions immediately, emphatically, when he changed up most of his offensive staff and moved people around and brought people in. John, thank you very much. Robert Griffin III will be doing the game Saturday.
I think I listen to him all the time. I think he does a great job. I can't wait to I'm going to tape it so I can hear RG3. Guys, thank you very much.
You too. Thank you very much, John McClain, and, of course, from the chat room. Hey, John McClain saved the Nakatomi Tower. Show him some respect.
I'm sure he's never heard that one.
Oh, my Lord.
Okay, I'll tell you this. A long time ago when I first started in radio with Steve Fallon, John McClain was a regular guest on our show. John McClain was the best man in at least 2 of Steve Fallon's weddings. But he was the best man, and they've been very close with the high school together. And so I said, let's do an open with Die Hard. And so I asked John about it. He said, no, you don't do that. Because he's an author that don't do that.
No.
But yes, Die Hard, one of the greatest movies ever made.
When we come,
great Christmas movie.
Yeah, great Christmas.
When we